Hello, I'm back, and it's time for another video. This video, we'll be talking about brand loyalty, fanboyism, preference, and you, as in you the consumer, you the subscriber, you the person who buys and purchases a product. The purpose of this video is just to talk about something that's been going on in this community for a long time, and you know, I've been guilty of it myself, but it needs to be addressed, and I hope this will at least call attention to a problem that needs to be addressed, and hopefully we can find some way to navigate this touchy issue. And what do I mean? Well, basically bashing people for their console of choice. So without further ado, let's get down to it after the cut. So, what do I mean when I say bashing people about their console of choice? Well, I mean, in this community we've got Nintendrone, Nintendfag, Sony Pony, Xbot, or Xthot. It gets annoying, and frankly speaking, it's a pain in the ass. Now, I personally have been guilty of this, and the standardized excuse that we hear from people, including myself, is, well, they said this first. Let me break this down for you, okay? There is no excuse for bashing someone about their brand choice. Conversely, just because someone is a multi-console owner doesn't necessarily mean that they're supposedly great gamers. Because even if you own multiple products, everyone has preferences. Everyone has something that they prefer. Okay? I like to drink soda. Not all the time, but occasionally. If you put, you know, in my garage right now, I have Coke, Cherry Coke, Root Beer, Ginger Ale, 7-Up, Orange Crush. But my preference, even though I have multiple types of soda, my preference is Coke. So basically, if you put those 6 sodas in front of me and they were equally ice cold, I would choose the Coke almost 75% of the time. Why? I like Coke. You know, everyone has preferences. Everyone has certain things that they prefer over others. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that doesn't necessarily give someone the right to shit on those other things. If we applied the same logic that people put onto console ownership as to other forms of brand loyalty and preference, people would basically, it would be even more ridiculous. It's like, oh man, what would you like? We have Coke and Pepsi. I'll have a Coke, please. You bastard! You coke-swilling bastard! Get out of my restaurant! You know, I mean, it sounds really stupid. Or, you know, someone goes to a used car dealership and they're like, well, you know, we've got 3 family sedans, four-door family sedans, 4 cylinders each, 2013 models, but they're from different manufacturers, but they're all roughly the same type of vehicle. You've got a Ford, a Chevy, a Dodge, and then something from Toyota. They're all basically the same damn type of vehicle. They all get roughly the same mileage, aside from small, indistinct little extras, bennies, if you will. They're all basically the same shit to get you from point A to point B. And some people get caught up on these minute differences, which is scary. and kind of weird. People have devoted entire channels to talking shit about other people because of what they like to game on, which is the height of stupidity. So basically, in this first part of the video, my point is pretty simple. People have brand loyalty and preferences. People have preferences and brand loyalty. A great example of brand loyalty would be how some people buy Apple products. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean Apple products are great. In some ways, they are not quite as good as PC, but in other ways they excel. But if you take you tally all the strengths and weaknesses of both and put them against each other, they're relatively even. They do basically, you can do the same shit in both of them. Although, you know, statistically, just the sheer number of people using PCs versus Apple PCs, Apple computers versus PCs. PCs went out because they're more widely distributed and a larger base of people use them than Apple-based products. But that's aside from the point. Roughly the same shit, minor differences, same shit. And people get a stick up their ass about it. Oh, you know, this is an Apple product. Rah, fuck you, PC people. And then you got PC people. I've got a PC. Fuck you, Apple people. I mean, it gets old very quickly. And people get way too caught up on stupid shit. And that's what it is. It's stupid shit that really doesn't matter. So basically what I'm saying is that it needs to end. People need to stop being so hung up on what other people buy, or prefer, or have brand loyalty towards. Because at the end of the day, as long as the consumer who bought the shit is having fun with it, kudos for them. But there is a flip side to this coin, which I will get to after the cut. Okay, I'm back, and it's time to talk about the flip side of that problem, which is how do you deal with trying to be objective while still having brand loyalty and preference? And I know what some people say. Well, aren't they mutually exclusive? Not really. Here's how it works. Basically, you have to remove yourself, your subjectivism from the equation, and think about it in terms of, okay, let's be objective, okay? So basically, you have to develop a rubric or a system of measurement in order to determine, you know, what makes you want to purchase a product, okay? Now, taking out your brand loyalty and preference, why do you like, you know, what are must-haves in a product for you? Well, for me, when it comes to a video game system, I need, you know, backwards compatibility is a must now. Need backwards compatibility. I've needed that for the last 2 gens. Before that, I was kind of already partially backwards compatible, kind of hung up on that before 2 gens ago with my handhelds, because all of my Nintendo handhelds have backwards compatibility, at least 1 gen back. The Game Boy Advanced had 2 gens, so you know I'm really into backwards compatibility with my systems. But basically, you've got backwards compatibility. That's important to me. I really need a console to have backwards compatibility. 2, I need value. What I mean is not just backwards compatibility with my games, but I want to be able to know that all this shit that I bought for my last system, I better be able to use at least 60 to 70% of it on this new one. Just saying. You know? 2, we're getting down to the meat and potatoes now. Games. I need games that are worth what I'm paying for this system. What I mean is that I need games that I'm not going to find anywhere else on any other system. So multiplats, aren't really my wheelhouse or forte or my yang when I think of a console. I'm not thinking, man, look at all the shit I can get that I can get on 5 other systems. Because basic economics states that scarcity increases value. Okay? Something that you can, a recipe that you can only, a food that you can only get in one restaurant is more valuable than a food that you can get in 30,000 located across the US. Get it? Pretty damn simple. And that's the same way it is about games. I know that many people will say, well, I was really looking forward to playing this game. It's a multi-plat. A lot of them are also on last-gen systems. Not really all that impressive. Now, if some shit is literally only can be gotten or played on one system, that shit's valuable. So good first-party games, second-party exclusives, third-party exclusives. I like games that are exclusives. I buy systems for exclusives. I don't buy systems for multi-plats because I have a gaming PC. I have the ultimate multi-plat machine. So, you know, and I spent a fuck ton more on this than most gamers will spend on their PS4s, Xbox Ones. But I digress. So, basically, or even a Wii U. So basically, you know, those are my criteria. I need backwards compatibility games. I also need, you know, exclusive games and value. Now, notice I didn't say online, voice chat, achievement system. These are things that don't interest me, and personally I feel them to be extraneous features. You know, if a system doesn't have these things, I'm not like, oh, this system's a total waste of my time. No, I'm thinking, okay, the games on this system better be damn good. And if they are, then I didn't need that shit anyway. So, basically, those are my preferences. That's what I like. But that doesn't mean that if other systems have that, I'm going to be like, oh, well, if they have those secondary features, that's good, but if they don't have the primary features, then I don't give a shit. And those are features I can get behind. So, with that being said, let's bring this on home with the final part of this video, after the cut. Okay then, so now it's time to bring this on home. As the placard says, it's time to state the obvious. Basically, this community, the gaming community in general, is filled with people who basically thrive on calling people out, saying things about other people. You're an Xbox fanboy, you're an Xbox fanboy, you're a Nintendo fanboy, you're a Sony fanboy. Look, if they enjoy their purchase, no matter how much of your group by your standards, it pretty much doesn't meet even the bare criterion, then the only thing you can say is shake your head and say, oh well, that's what they like. Nothing you can really do. So state the facts and do what you got to do. Now, does this mean that you should say someone likes what they like if they're getting a defective product? Well, no. Then you have to pull a Ralph Nader and be like, look, this stuff is defective. People are getting shoddily made products. But until that time, we're just going to have to do the best we can and keep on moving forward. Stay tuned for more videos coming on, Tavern Tales videos, an epic cast coming up Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 1st. This will be an epic cast. We'll be getting down into the nitty-gritty of the video game business. That's right, we'll be talking about the business of making toys for people. So, rate, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have any ideas for future videos, leave in the comment section. If you have any comments, leave in the comment section. If you want to take part in the Q&A on Sunday's Epic Cast, click this link and mark it on your Google Calendar. Whatever. So with that being said, good night.